My name is Ahmed Ridi. I'm the general manager of a company called Specialized Software Services, and this is a company that's been in the UAE since January 2001 and deal in digital signage solutions. I personally have been doing digital signage since 15 years ago. My first project of digital signage was on CRT monitors, selling products for Unilever in Egypt. And that was my first ever digital signage project using SCALA input channel 100 on DOS application, on DOS platform. I have done over 70 projects in Egypt, UAE, Kuwait, Qatar, Bahrain, and Lebanon, and I would say that 65 of them are here in the GCC over the last 3 years. This presentation is aimed to shed a spotlight on the most important fact that you need to know when you are preparing an RFP. Okay, the most important thing is what customers really want. Did anybody read the book, What Customers Want? Okay, it's a very interesting book talking about how companies have a perception about what customers want, and they release products into the market, then it turns out it's a disappointment, and customers actually needed something else, not wanted something else. So, I'm going to start this presentation with 5 slides that I call Digital Signage 101, and as I say in my sales presentation to my people, that there are 5 main elements of any successful digital signage implementation. If you miss one of them, you don't have an implementation. The complicated drawing over here with satellite, IP, multicast, TVs, kiosks, etc., and all of this pulls down to 5 main elements, which is location, hardware, software, telecommunication infrastructure, and content. Can you think of anything else that would compose a digital signage network for you? I believe none. But actually, there is more to it. It is, what is the objective of this digital signage project? What do you want to achieve with it? Do you want to talk to people? Do you want to sell to people? Do you want to interact with people? And so on. Who is your target audience? And who are the stakeholders in my organization? Is it the IT? Is it the marketing? Is it the sales? Is it the management? And so on. One of the projects that we did when I first came to Dubai was with a retail chain, and the retail, luckily, chain is still our client until now, and we're expanding with him in the Middle East. And I remember very well that we did our presentation, did our proof of concept, pilot, installed the system for the client, and then signed the contract. And then the guy calls his IT manager and said, you know what, we just installed a digital signage network. You're responsible for making it run. So the IT actually didn't know anything until we implemented the project.
Well, that's good actually, because IT always is stumbling block.
Exactly. You asked me about that. Okay. Not always. I have a couple of very good projects where the IT helped us against the marketing team.
Exception.
Next, please. Okay. All of you have heard the word location, location, location. And if you didn't hear it, search on YouTube and look at Ahmed the Dead Terrorist. Okay? That's a joke over the internet, and he says also location, 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 and it's lucky that my name is Ahmed, but I'm not the dead terrorist until now. Location, location, location talks about how important the location that you're using for the media, but I twisted it a little bit, because location, location, location means location of the outlet, mall, hotel, or whatever you're talking about, or the place you want to put the digital signage in, location of the screen within the mall, and location of your hardware and cables. Sam here will agree with me that there's a client that we share where actually the hardware is installed in a way that you think that the consultant will say, you know what, I'm going to make this guy's client's life living hell for the rest of his life. PCs there, cables here, screens there, you just get lost. If you don't get things in order, you're going to have problems. We all spoke about content is king, we all spoke about what hardware we need, everything, but tidying everything and put it up in place is very important as well. Okay. The second point, which is hardware, okay, you have to ask, what screen am I going to use? Is an LED good in this place? What is the size of the screen I'm going to use, what kind of player hardware I'm going to use, and what kind of display technology I'm going to use. Software, should I use streaming-based, playlist, against real digital signage content management, what operating system I'm going to use. These things you always have to have in your mind before you think about what kind of implementation you want to have. Okay, and then comes everybody's worst nightmare, unless you live in Holland, because it's very cheap over there. Okay, the telecommunication infrastructure. Am I going to use telephony? Do I have a local area network? Do I have a wireless network? One of our clients here in the UAE, we had to build a military-grade wireless network in order for this digital signage network to run properly. Or am I going to use satellite installation? Okay? And everybody said content is king, so I put it in red because I don't want to repeat whatever everybody's saying, it's a famous saying. Am I going to use MPEG movies, flash movies, smart content? Is it internal messaging, corporate information? As a client or as a person who wants to implement a digital signage network, you have to sit with yourself and say, what do I need to get out of this network when it's up there and running? And this is where you start recognizing what your real need is. Am I going to have an DVD player? Or I'm going to have a high-end product like Cool Sign 4 or Info Channel 5 or Broad Sign or whatever it is. And this slide, I believe nobody showed you. This slide talks about content. Your content can start from being a total waste. You put it more and it becomes total torture to your people, or you lift it up a little bit and it becomes sponsored entertainment. You're not making money, but the people are happy. Or you can do it smartly, and then you have performance marketing. You keep people happy, and it makes you money. And I believe this is where everybody wants to be. Okay? So what is the roadmap to a bulletproof RFP? We spoke about the needs, the requirements, etc. Okay? So I have a little diagram here, and I say that we have 4 corners for a successful implementation. You need to have a good business model. I remember very well that we advised one of our clients not to actually set up the digital signage network because the costs involved were never going to achieve any kind of ROI against something that most people forget. The marketing managers with the dollars who are willing to spend on advertising has a cap. If you're spending dollar for him is more expensive, right, Samir? Then he will choose to go for newspaper or TV, right? So there's a cap for everything. So you have to very well understand your business model. You have to understand the status of your location, your network and technology, and what kind of content are you going to play. I'm going to break this down a little bit. Next, you have to understand what's the purpose and goal of your network. Understand the financial commitments that you're going to have. Your capital expenditure, what you're going to pay to actually own that system. Your operational expenses, whether it's the telecom expenses, taxes, or rent fees. We all live in Dubai and we know that all the taxes we pay are actually municipality fees and rent fees and authorization fees and legalization fees and registration fees, etc. Okay? And I hope I don't get arrested with it. And the OPEX, the other OPEX is the agency fees, commissions, and salaries. And of course, the legal and location authority requirements, whether you need to have an authorization letter from someone and so on. Next.